All right, well, hello and welcome, everyone. I am super excited to get tonight started. We got just about a minute left. I'm doing some final audio checks, just making sure everything looks like it's working and is set to go. So I'll see you guys in just a minute here. I gotta get some final things set up, and yeah, we'll kick tonight off. Did you hear me? Did I go through Zoom at least? Did I come through Zoom? Perfect. Thank you. Are you keeping up after? Yes, for a short time. Oh, all right, well, hello and welcome, everyone. I cannot wait to get started with our 2024 VEX IQ Kickoff. This is going to be an absolutely incredible time. So, basically, how tonight's going to work is we're going to spend the first, 20, 30 minutes. I want to dive into exactly how I start my seasons off. I know some of you guys started your season in May. I know some of you guys started your season a little later. That's totally fine, doesn't matter. But I'm going to dive through first, like, all right, how do you start your season off? How do you get things rolling? And then I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to show you guys some of the key things that I've learned this year so far. I've been building a ton of robots. You've been watching YouTube. You know that I've got like 10 or so videos up this year. Built a bunch of robots. I tested way more robots than I posted on YouTube because most of them didn't work. I'm going to show you some of the things that worked, some of the things that didn't, and really just how to get your team on the best track possible for next year. So we're having an awesome time. I am going to, just be showing you kind of what I do personally in order to get ready. I actually am working with one of my teams right now. We're going through this exact same process. You might notice in the background there's Joseph. He is going to be answering questions, kind of getting things set up on the back end. So if you have any problems or anything, there's a Q&A button at the bottom. You can go and click that. It can be a robot question, or it can be like, I need help with the meeting question. If you flood the Q&A, he'll probably kick you out. I don't know. It's up to him. So be polite. But if you guys do have questions during the meeting, there's a good link on the bottom. It says Q&A. Go and click that. If you click the chat, nothing's going to happen because the chat is disabled for this meeting. We're using the Q&A instead. It's way cleaner, and it lets Joseph actually answer your question instead of there's a million chats and you can't find your answer. So we're going to be using the Q&A. Other than that, this meeting's recorded. I think we talked about that. Y'all have access to the recording for a little time afterward in case you need to go back and watch something. That being said, let's dive into it. I'm super excited. It's officially 5 o'clock. So, welcome to the 2024 VEX IQ Rapid Relay Kickoff. Basically, what we're going to be doing tonight is just diving into how to design robots for this year. And I'm just going to take you through the process, step by step. So, whenever I design robots for this year, the first thing that I always do is I watch the game animation. And I know you guys have probably already watched it at least once or twice or maybe 3 times, or if you're like me, you've watched it 10 times. But I'm going to play it one more time. If you're on YouTube, you actually won't see it because it gets blocked by YouTube. But if you're with me on Zoom, you're going to see it. And we are going to play the game animation one last time just so that you can kind of get it fresh in your mind. And as you're watching it this time, there's a few things I want you to keep an eye out for. As we're watching it, the first thing you want to keep an eye out for is how you get points. How on earth do we score points this year? The second thing you want to keep an eye out for is we're going to play it. You want to figure out, are there any key rules here that either I have questions on or are a little unusual? I'll give you a hint. The size box is unusual, and passing is a little unusual, and rapid loading is unusual. Those are 3 specific ones we're going to talk about. There's a bunch of others, so go ahead, see what you can find. I'm going to go ahead and play this game animation here. Yeah. So I think that's it for like kind of game animation, what the rules look like, how things kind of worked out there. The final thing that I want to do is we are going to say, all right, I understand the game. I see how it works. I know how to score points. I know we're probably going to be passing. We're not like going to be trying to get points just by scoring balls in the goal. It's only 1 point, whereas a pass is like 4, 8, 10, or 12 points. So we're going to be going for the goals. We know we're going to have to clear the switches because that's what makes the passes worthwhile. So at this point, we're like, all right, let's build a robot. Before I build a robot, there's one more step I do, and I decide what kind of robot I want to build. So I use something called goals, and basically all that goals are is, oh, there we go. All that goals are is a simple way for you to kind of decide what you want your robot to look like. So there are tons of goals you could have. For example, here's 2 of my favorites. One is maybe I want to make a really simple high-scoring robot. These are the 2 that we're going to go with tonight. I'm going to do both of them. I want to make a robot that's super simple, can score a ton of points, but I can build it in like a week or 2. The other one is maybe I want to win a local tournament. I want a robot that can win a tournament, it can really score a ton of points, really win a local tournament, but it's not, it's not going to be winning the world championship. Some other goals I've seen teams have, we've got tons of them. You could, maybe your goal is just, I want to have fun. I don't care that much about winning, I just want to have fun. And often people say this when they're like not doing well in the season, but if you genuinely really just want to have fun, you could do that. I've had teams say, I want to get to Worlds. I'm going to build a robot that can get me to Worlds this year. I'm going to go to Texas. Maybe you just want to make it to finals. Maybe you've never done really great in a tournament. Maybe you want to win the VEX World Championship. I had some teams who were doing that. Joseph, actually, this year, this is his goal. He wants to win the VEX World Championship. He was very, very close last year. He was second. He got to Dome and was beat in finals. So being second best isn't that bad, but he wants to be first. So we're going to see what he can do there. Maybe you want a really cool looking robot. I remember there's this one team that we had growing up, and they always built the coolest looking robots. Every year, I just could not wait to see the robot because it was so cool. It would have like a thing that was all folded up inside, go boom, and it would like flip out this massive mechanism, and it would work so smooth and so cool. The robots were never very good, but they were so cool looking. So I was always so excited for them. They did double jointed arms before like double jointed arms were even like possible. So they were super smart, super good at what they were doing, and their robots just look cool. Their goal was not to win; they just wanted to build cool robots, and they had a total blast doing it. So like I said, there's tons of goals. You're welcome to pick any goal you want. If you are like, I'm not sure what I want to pick, go ahead, watch me, and hopefully things will kind of make sense. Like I said, I'm going to pick 2 simple goals today. I want to make a simple robot that scores a ton of points, and I want to win a local tournament. Both of these are what we call competitive goals, and in general, I like to say every team should have at least one competitive goal, meaning a goal that is going to be like winning a tournament or scoring a lot of points or something like that. So in order to achieve both these goals, I know that I need to score points in a match. If you do not score points in a match, you cannot have a high-scoring robot, and you very much cannot win a tournament if you never score points. So how do we score points? This is exactly what we put together before. We need a robot that can probably put a ball in the goal, it can probably clear a switch, and it probably can do some amount of passing. Now, like I said, I really need to do this like 12-point passing. I'm not going to be doing like these 1-point things to really win. So, I'm thinking I probably want to do all of them. Let me tell you guys a story about some guys who didn't do this. I don't know how familiar you guys are with full volume, but I remember I was on a team last year, and our team, they weren't super good. They were actually not the best at the tournament, but our team was really, really good at knowing the rules. And we were at a tournament. It was kind of a lower level tournament, and half the teams didn't even understand how the rules worked. They didn't understand that last year you got a huge number of bonuses if you put cubes in all 3 goals. Basically, there are 3 goals around the field. You put cubes in all 3 goals, you got 3 times the bonuses as if you put all the cubes in 1 goal. So basically, we were at this tournament. All the teams, except us, were taking all the cubes and putting them all in the same goal. And then instead, what I told my kids was all right, you guys know how the rules work. Let's put cubes in all 3 goals, and we'll get more points. And they're like, oh, all right. And they figured out that you needed 2 in each goal to get the maximum number of points. And every single match, that was their strategy. They would go for 2 cubes in a goal, and then they would like try and max it out as much as they could. It was not a very competitive tournament. They actually won the tournament just because no one else knew what the rules were and no one else knew how to score. So this year's scoring is kind of complicated. I'm going to go over more of it in detail soon. But just knowing how to score is going to be super valuable to you guys. So, like I said, this is how we score. Pretty straightforward. We're getting balls in the goals, and we're passing. So, in general, there's a bunch of things we probably want our robot to do. I'm going to go and turn on the chat real quick, and I want you guys to type in what kinds of things would you want your robots to be able to do this year? What kinds of things would you want your robot to do? Shoot, drive fast, good. There, let me type some of these in. Where are we? I should have this poll. There we are. So, all right, shoot. Oops, that's sheet. Shoot, we want to drive fast. That could be valuable. What other things do we have? Ooh, all right. Score high. I'm going to set score high and score low different. So maybe that covers the shoot grounds. All right, what else do we have? Drive high. Ooh, all right, how do we get the balls to shoot? Good, we're going to need to intake, right? Very nice. All right, what other things are we going to want to do? So intake is pick up balls. Let's just write actually what it is. Oops. Pick up balls, very nice. Ooh, all right, some people say we want to be able to carry 2 balls at once. Sure, let's throw that on here. What other things might we want to be able to do? Ooh, all right. So this one's a little bit advanced, but maybe we want the ability to catch balls. Remember, we don't have to catch balls for passing, but maybe that would make passing faster. If we were in a really high level match, maybe we want to be able to catch balls. All right, that could be cool. What other things might we want to be able to do? See, we have driving, we got picking up balls, we got scoring high, we got scoring low. We got carrying 2 balls at once. All right, this one's a little bit nuanced, but maybe you want your intake to be on the opposite side of your shooter. This one's not super obvious, but here, I'll just write it and I'll explain it. But this is kind of a more advanced robot thing. You might say, hey, this is super cool. What I actually want is I want to be able to intake on the back of my robot and shoot out the front, because I see that I'm going to be always intaking behind me and shooting in front of me. That way I don't need to make a ton of U-turns. So some of my robots you'll see intake and shoot at the same side. Some it's like the opposite side. And so that could be a nice thing. Ooh, one more. Yeah, that's a good one. Shoot 2 balls at once. Very nice. Cool. So I think that's most of them. I know you guys probably typed in a whole bunch more things. By shoot, if someone said like clear a bunch of switches, yes, we should clear the switches. But that is part of shooting them. If you can shoot high and shoot low, you can clear all the switches. So very good. All right, so what I like to do is I take this list, right? I've got this nice list here that I was just showing you guys that we just typed up together. You guys had some awesome ideas. I'm going to go to take some of these. I actually made this list before the meeting, and you guys came up with more ideas than I had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you the list that I came up with before the meeting and which ones that I decided I wanted to do on a simple high-scoring robot, and then we'll do one that's going to win a whole tournament. So I want a really simple, easy-to-build robot. It can just score balls low, it can pick up balls, and it can maybe kind of roll them across the field. That's about it. I'm going to save scoring high and carrying 2 balls at once and all that stuff. We'll save that for later. That robot is coming soon, but for now, let's say that I want to score this, make this robot. What's it going to look like? Let's take a look. Maybe I would start with, here, let me clear off my desk a little bit just so you guys can kind of see what we're doing. Maybe I'll start with a drive base. There we go. I like this. And I really want a robot that is able to, let's see, what did I say? I said I want it to be able to drive. All right, we got drive. I want to be able to pick up balls and score them low. Now, I could make a bunch of ideas for this. Maybe I'm thinking like, you remember Blockbuster from last year or even Superlink from last year? All right, there we go. So maybe the ball comes in here and then this robot, whee, that looks exactly the same. There we go. It's not quite the same robot. So this is the ball, the thing with X in it, and I could score that into a goal. That looks pretty good. All right, so this robot, this is like a little roller thing. That's why it's there. This robot looks pretty good. Basically what I've got is I've got a drive base here. I've got like an arm that kind of goes out here, and then it's got a little tray that's able to pick up a ball and score it out. This robot I actually built, it's called Superlink. Maybe I'll build another robot. Maybe I'm thinking, a robot like this, like this, like this. I want just a big triangle there. There we go. The balls kind of come in here. This is the ball, right? It's just going to kind of come up here, and then it kind of spits out the back. This was nice. Now notice I've got my intake opposite shooting. That was something, or opposite scoring. That was something that I wanted. This is the goal. So here's the goal wall right here. This is like where I'm trying to score them in. There's the high goal. There's the low goal. Not quite to scale, but it's pretty close. So that could be cool too. This is nice. It can score high, score low. How am I going to pull them up here? Let's say I have a bunch of rollers up here. So this robot, actually, I built, he was called Incline. Maybe I say, all right, that robot's cool, but actually I want a robot more like this. Maybe you really like, the conveyors. So you've got something that kind of looks like this. You got a bunch of teeth on here, right? And these teeth are the balls are gonna go up there. This robot was very much not to scale. The balls are actually like that big, aren't they? There we go. And then this would like spit out the back. I don't like this robot quite as much. I feel like it's gonna have a hard time picking up balls. I'm probably gonna need like some roller out here, and now I'm like having extra motors. But this is an option. And so what I'm doing here is really, I'm just coming up with new robot ideas. Some of them I've come up with before, some of them I haven't. Oh, all right, how about this robot? This one looks fun. So say I got a stick right here, and I like come down, grab the ball, and that looks pretty good. The ball kind of just comes in here, right? This is just a little intake. It spins it in. I pick up the ball there, and then when I'm ready to score, there we go. This is a pivot point. And so watch this. You just take the, ooh, this didn't go well. I drew my robot a little bit wrong. There we go. And the ball just kind of comes out here into the goal. And so that, I didn't draw that robot very well. I think realistically it would look a little different. But you kind of get the idea. I'm kind of designing some robots. Personally, just based on what I've actually built, my favorite robots for specifically a simple high scoring robot are something like this, where you're able to take, you pick up a ball and you just score it on the goal. This robot is super simple. I actually have step-by-step instructions, so if you're interested, email me. I'll like show you how to do this. The step-by-step instructions, in case you're curious, they're from VEX. They're like totally competition legal. They're way easier. So if you're interested in a robot like this, let me know. I've also built this robot. I've never built this robot. This one looks cool. One other idea, I just had this one, so I'm gonna draw it, and then you guys will get to tell me what you think of it. But here we go. Say that I have a robot here. I don't like this idea very much, but imagine you just have like a big claw. There we go, a big claw. Pick up the ball here, and then you kind of drop the ball up top here. It goes into the goal. That looks like it could work. Looks really simple. I like it. My goal here was to make a simple robot that can score at least a decent number of points. If you're like, about how many points could this score? My guess is we're looking at, I don't know, say like 5. We do 5 goals. We only clear the bottom 2 switches. So it'd be 5 goals, 5 passes, and 2 switches cleared. So if I'm doing this is what, like 47 points? That's not bad. So robot, it's scoring some points. Maybe I say I want to score some more points than that. That might be enough to win a tournament in like a really local area. But maybe you want to score a few more points. So let's see what our options are. Imagine I wanted a robot that could score more points. I would probably go for something more like this. So you'll notice almost the same exact feature set. This is what we call it, a feature set. Same robot, except this time I think that I am going to include scoring high. I want to be able to score both high and low with my robot. I'm not going to be able to carry 2 balls at once. I'm not going to be able to drive faster, but I'm going to do just about everything else here. This feels pretty good. I'm going to go and give it a try. So here we are. Remember, if I want to score high, I'm going to have some kind of shooting. So I'm thinking for my first robot, let's do some basic kind of shooter. This is like one of my favorite shooters, mainly because I've built it before. I'm going to have like a shooter like this, and so it's going to have rubber bands down here. It's going to have a choo-choo mechanism in here. And if you're like, what are those words? Basically, a choo-choo mechanism just helps it like shoot. The rubber bands are going to be pulling down here so that when it lets go, it like shoots up. It's just like, pew. And I actually want these rubber bands to be adjustable. So I'm going to have both strong and weak rubber bands here, and I can switch between them. Or I can somehow adjust back here. That looks pretty good. And then I can shoot both high and low. So there would be my low shot, there would be my high shot. Feels pretty good. Maybe I say that robot's cool, but maybe I want another robot that can score high and low. I'm going to have a robot that looks like this, And here we go. Here's an intake. We're going to pick up a ball, and then it can shoot it up just like so. Or I'm going to have some rollers up here. I can take that ball, and I can roll it out the back. And so there's the low goal, there's the high goal. It'll just roll into the low goal just like so. Or maybe I could like shoot it up into that high goal just like that. So that's interesting. Now I don't need an adjustable shot here. These rubber bands could just be fixed wherever they are, and I could shoot like that. All right, here's another idea. So I've got my drive base here. I really like this catapult idea. I'm gonna move away from it in a sec because I want to try some other designs. But you kind of see right here, I'm like just kind of deciding like what robots do I like, what robots don't I like, how am I feeling? This feels pretty good. So I've got like, robot picks up the ball. This one though, instead of having rubber bands here, I'm gonna have pneumatics. So I'm gonna try shooting with pneumatics. And maybe it'll have like a rubber band to kind of give it a hand. But the whole point here is I'm gonna be able to shoot with pneumatics. I'm gonna have 2 different cylinders on here. One of them is for shooting high, one's for shooting low. And so if I do both of them, it'll shoot high. If I just do one of them, I think it'll shoot low. And I'm gonna have to do a lot of tuning with this, but now I've got 2 shots and I don't even have like some mechanism down there. I can just shoot with pneumatics. That could be cool. Maybe I say I don't like this whole like, arm. This is a arm. It goes like it tilts back and forth. Maybe I say, actually I really want a flywheel. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna draw some flywheels. These are flywheels. They're spinning very, very fast, right? And here's my intake. I'm gonna go ahead and take in the ball, and it kind of goes in here, and then it goes through here, and it goes shoo. And this one is cool because I can actually adjust the speed on these flywheels. If I make them spin very fast, I'll shoot high. If I make them spin very slow, I'll shoot low. So as I'm drawing these, go ahead and think about, what kind of robot would you like? Ooh, all right, here's one more idea, and then I'll turn you guys loose to draw your own. Imagine I had a robot, and this robot, I actually just got this idea from Joseph. So thank you, Joseph, for showing me this. But basically, imagine I've got a robot, and I can take the ball, and it like kind of goes all the way up to the top. This looks like the giant box robots from last year. Except this robot, what he's going to do is he's kind of got like a little platform up here, and he's got some flywheels right here. And they'll either shoot it out straight forward, or this top flywheel can move. It can pivot back like that. And so here, basically the ball comes up here. It's just rolling along this ramp. This ramp's like attached down here. There we go. There's nothing fancy there. Instead, what we can do is I have the same ramp, same box robot. The balls kind of come in here. They come up here. There's the ball again. And instead, that top flywheel can move back, remember? And now I can shoot either straight forward or up. So this one would be me shooting forward, and this would be me shooting into the high goal. So I'm not entirely sure which robot I like the best. I'm going to draw a few more here. I'm going to throw a timer on the screen also so you guys can kind of start drawing, get some ideas for what you want. I want to give you guys like, yay, 5 minutes. So if you don't have pencil and paper, now's an awesome time. Go grab some pencil and paper. Take 5 minutes, draw out your robots, and then come back here. I want to look at a few of them, and yeah, we'll kind of go from there. But this is basically, go ahead, grab some pencil and paper, grab a pen. I was using Sharpie. I like pencil because you can erase it. So go ahead, grab some pencils, grab some paper, draw out some robot ideas kind of based on what we've talked about tonight. And then we'll come back here together, and I got a few more things I really need to share with you guys. I have to show you guys the auto thing. That's super important. We got some other things as well. So I'm going to throw a timer on the screen. If you're like, Ben, I have no idea what to draw, don't worry. Go to watch my screen, and what I'm going to do is I am going to just draw a few more, and you can copy me. So yeah, I'll throw a timer on. I'll do a little more drawing, and you guys are welcome to do whatever you like. All right, so I'll be quiet. I'll let you guys draw. Go and come up with some good robot ideas. All right, well, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you got a good start on your robot drawings. Just know whatever you're drawing does not have to be final. So I drew a ton of things. I was just kind of goofing around. Let me just walk you through some of the things I drew. Let's see, where did I pick up? I think this was the last one I showed you guys. This was the one with like the tilting flywheel. So that's cool. Some other robots I thought of, I was like, you know, that tilting flywheel thing, what if you put the flywheel on a claw and so it like picked up a ball, so you know you have a ball kind of down here, it kind of gets sucked in here, and then you like just lift up your whole arm and like are able to shoot it out the front. That could be kind of cool. This was like that classic 2-ball robot, so that's what this is. It's like, all right, could I just put 2 balls on my catapult, shoot both at once? They both go in. This robot probably needs some kind of adjustment though, because I want to be able to shoot 1 ball in the high goal or 1 ball in the low goal still, and then I also want to be able to shoot 2. So that would be a little tricky. This robot was an idea that didn't work out at all. I started drawing it and it just didn't work. This one is that 2-ball catapult again, except this one, the intake's on the other side. So instead of having to like roll it over the ball, you just like the ball starts there and it rolls down the ramp and then they both shoot. That seemed kind of cool to me. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this robot. This one was like my attempt at a carriage, but basically the idea is the ball comes up here and this like stick is on rubber bands, and so it like shoves it forward super fast. And it can either shove forward and like straight forward, or you'd tilt it up a little and shoot up. That would probably be done by like a little flap here. So you'd have a flap that could either be down or up, and it would kind of be like shoving it off a jump, and then it would go into the goal. This one is kind of like the cannon idea. This one, it looks ridiculous. I'm not quite sure it would actually work, but that's the whole point of this. You're just kind of coming up with ideas. So I've got like a rotating cannon. The cannon comes down here, it loads the ball in, and then it can either shoot out straight forward or shoot straight up into the middle or high goal. This one is interesting robot. It's kind of a variation on the catapult. So if you've seen Misfire, it's similar but not the same. Basically, it can pick up a ball in here and it can shoot it in the high goal, or it's actually this picture geometry is completely wrong, but this picture is right, where basically it can shoot it in the high goal, or if it raises it slowly, the ball just naturally rolls into the low goal. So those are all the ideas I came up with. Are those all the ideas? Absolutely not. You guys came up with a million other awesome ideas, and I cannot wait to see all of them. Before we dive into, I want to have you guys like kind of show what you guys have done. Before we dive into that though, I do have one more thing I wanted to share you with. Actually, I have a few more things I want to share with you guys. First of all, if you're like looking at this robot and you're like, whoa, hang on a sec, that looks awesome, but I have no idea how to build it. And you're a coach, I have an awesome course that I teach. Basically, I teach this whole course. I do it every single year, and it is specifically for Rapid Relay. It's just like basically everything I know. I cover this part, so if you need to cover this again, I cover this. I cover how you design the robots. I cover exactly how you build it. I cover how you program them. I cover how you compete with them. I cover all kinds of details. I give you guys some bonuses like for future years. Like we probably aren't using arms this year, but you know, I cover how to do arms. I cover how to do all kinds of other things. I cover flywheels. I explain exactly how everything's built, how all that stuff works. If you're looking for step-by-step instructions for like an advanced robot, that's not what this is. But if you just are like, Ben, this is awesome, I have no idea how to build this, I'd love to have you guys join me for that. It's super cool. And yeah, so if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and send the link in the chat. If you guys are like, I'm not sure if that's right, go ahead, sign up. And I've like money back guarantee, so sign up for it, see if you like it. If you don't like it, just email me. You got 100 days to do it, so loads of time. Yeah, basically, if you got value out of tonight and you're thinking, this is good, but I want to take it to the next level. I feel like I have some solid robot designs, either from me or from what you've created. Hopefully, you guys have like a starting point, and you're like, Ben, I just don't know how to build this. How do I build the drivetrain? How do I build the catapult that I need? How do I build this rubber band tensioner thing? Go ahead, click that link, and I'd love to have you guys join me for that. That being said, though, let's dive back into kind of some other things I want to share with you guys. All right. So, 2 things. First, learning from the past. I want to show you guys the power of learning from the past. You see, I've been doing VEX IQ since, 2018 Ringmaster. So it's been a little while. I have a lot of experience, and separately, I know all the games back from way before Ringmaster. So when this game came out, it is really similar to 2 games we've had in the past. Similar to pitching in, it's similar to bank shot. So I went online and I found some videos. Actually, this one's one of my videos. And I always will tell you if a video is edited using computers, like it's not exactly what happened. And this one is only because we didn't have 2 robots. We only had 1 robot because it was the middle of COVID. And so we used a computer to basically put We played 2 separate matches, put them together with a computer. But this is actually what the robot did. Nothing sped up or modified. So I looked at this video and I was like, maybe I could make a robot like this. And if you've seen Misfire, that's very similar to what this robot is. It just shoots bigger balls instead of small ones. So you can see these guys are absolutely rocking it. They literally clear the field in 33 seconds. So they've been at this for 20 seconds. They got just a few more seconds. They're going to finish this thing up. They've got all the balls. They're shooting them in. You can't see it under this timer. It's like a big basket. And then they're going to go for a climb at the last second. So there they are. Basically, I looked at this and I was like, that looks pretty cool. I wonder if I could do something like that. That's where Misfire came from. So learning from the past, super valuable. Other thing, completely unrelated but super important, is I want to tell you guys the secret to winning autonomous or programming skills this year. You see, there are some special rules that come with rapid loading. And I made a slide with them. If you guys want this slide, email me afterward and I'm happy to send it to you. But the key is that in programming skills, you're able to get your passing bonus instead of using passing, because obviously there's only one robot on the field. You can't pass. I've had so many people emailing me about this. So this is like your secret. You get the points for passing, and you can rapid load all match in programming skills. What does that mean? That means during programming skills, you have the option, instead of just like trying to load them through the loader and like hoping that your robot picks them up, you can just drive back to the starting position and put a ball right in front of your robot just as your robot's driving up. Robot picks it up and it drives forward and scores it. Realistically, what does this look like on the field? You're going to have the goal wall in the front, right? This is where you're trying to score. And your robot will drive forward, score its first preload in there. Then it'll come back. It'll just drive backwards. And then you, as the human loader, put a ball basically right in front of it. It runs over it, picks it up, and then drives forward again. And your robot's just going backward and forward and backward and forward. And every time it goes backwards, you put a ball right in front of it. It picks it up. Every time it goes forwards, it goes until it hits the goal, stops, shoots, and then it goes back again. So super simple way. Maybe at some point, you want to switch goals. You want to head over to the other side. But one way or another, that is how I've been doing programming skills. That's how everyone who does it well, who I've seen has done it. I think Team Dynamite and some other teams have some awesome programming skills runs on their YouTube, and that is the way to do it. Don't like try and put it in the loading station and like have it go randomly. That's really, really hard. It's kind of like if you've ever been lost in the woods, or been lost like driving or walking anywhere. It's kind of like that is what happens to your robot. Basically, when you try and track a ball, even if you're using cameras, you'll try and track the ball. You'll try and figure out where it is. You'll get the ball, but your robot will have no idea where it is. It'll be totally lost on the field, and it will not know where the goal is. So I know for us to get lost on the field would be very hard. You're like, well, where am I? But if you were blind and so you couldn't see, and then also you had no sense of feel like robots, right? Robots don't have any vision unless you have a camera. You do image processing, which we can't. And they don't have any sense of feel. They can't feel where the walls are. It's really easy to get lost in like a field and you don't know where the goal is. So that's kind of what's going on here. In general, use rapid loading during programming skills. In driver skills, you're like, can I use rapid loading? The answer is yes, after you switch drivers. And again, it counts for all the points. You don't have to worry about the whole like rapid loads don't do bonuses. In general, in teamwork, you're going to do almost no rapid loading. Programming skills and driver skills, you're going to do tons of rapid loading. All right. Let me just give you guys this. This is a cool trick, and then I really want to hit questions. I know some of you guys have them. But one cool feature that I want to share with you guys, this looks silly, but it is actually super useful. So if some of you guys have been using the VEX Via app, which is absolutely fantastic, VEX puts it out. It's official. It's great. Except it doesn't actually score correctly. So here, let me show you. Basically, I don't have VEX Via pulled up on my computer. I probably should. But one way or another, I don't have VEX Via. But I have this, which is a scoring calculator that is more accurate because it lets you select teamwork, driver skills, or programming skills. In VEX Via, it's always set to teamwork. And so, say you score 4 balls and you clear 4 switches. It's 8 points. But if you did that in driver skills, it's 52 points. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, aha, Joseph just handed me the VEX Via app. So here, let me just show you real quick. So say that you did, what did I say? You did 4 switches and you scored 4 balls. It says that's 8 points, which is correct for teamwork, but it's not correct if you're doing driver skills or programming skills. So that's why I like this app. Like I said, it's not official. Don't trust this like for your life, but it is quite accurate. I haven't found a glitch in it yet, so yeah, I would suggest you give it a try. The reason this is only 8 points, by the way, is because you haven't gotten those passes. If you got 4 passes, then you'd be at 56 points. So super cool. It also comes with a match timer, so you can start, stop, reset. But yeah, if you guys would like this, I'm gonna send it to you guys in the chat as well. So the first link I sent is like sign up for the course. The second link I sent, that's gonna be that scoring calculator. I use it all the time. It's totally free. It's just on my website. So I love it. Cool. So I think that is all. I am gonna go ahead and switch over to Q&As. So if you guys do have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. And I will see if I can get through some of you guys. I know some of you guys had your hand raised before. We're going to go ahead and restart the line. So there we go. But yeah, go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. I'd love to see what I can do to answer it. If you guys also just want to raise your hand and show me your robot, I would love to see what you guys are doing. I'd love to see kind of what your robots are up to, how they're working, and all that. If you like want to show me just your drawing and be like, Ben, this is what I'm thinking of building, that's awesome. I'd love to look at that. If you have like a quick robot question, we can go with it. If your question looks like it's going to be longer, I'll say go ahead and email me because we have a few people on. We have 157 people on right now, and I want to make sure we hit everyone. Cool. So let's get Clint first. Clint Kim.
First, I have a question. Like, I'm getting, like, I have my robot, like, I have a robot that can, like, hold, that, like, shoots 2 balls.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, is it legal if a robot can hold 2 balls at the same time?
Mm-hmm. You can totally hold 2 balls at the same time.
Okay.
Cool.
Yay.
All right. How about Ranch? How do you say it?
Ranch.
Ranch. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I also go by Ray.
All right. How are you? All right. What can I do for you, Ray?
I'm the coder
Mm-hmm.
on my team.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought of like a way to use the distance sensors, the Gen 2 distance sensors,
Mm-hmm.
as like a coordinate grid on the field. Do you think that
Uh-huh.
would work?
It could. It's a little tricky because basically you're saying, have one pointed out the front and one pointed out the side and like be able to see how far away the walls are.
No, like where you are on the field.
Yeah. Well, so it would tell you like how far away the walls are and that you'd be able to tell where you are on the field based on that. Or where would you put
not
them?
necessarily the balls, but like
Oh, the walls, the edge of the field.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So that works, or it can work. There's kind of 2 tricky things that you have to solve with it. The first one is when your robot turns, you have to account for how much you've turned, right? Because if I'm looking at the wall straight in front of me, I have a wall behind my camera. It's a different distance away if I'm looking straight at it versus if I turn and I'm looking at like over here. That'll be a little further away, even though I'm the same distance from the wall. So you have to be careful with that.
Because like I figured out a way to like not have that happening. You can just at the start of the game you can set heading to whatever degrees, and then you can turn to that heading whenever you want to start that coordinate system.
That is totally an option. The other thing is you just have to make sure you don't see things. So like if there's a ball in front of you, like with a ball, and you shoot your laser, shoot your distance sensor, and you think that's the wall, you'll think you're in a different position, right? So you have to make sure that you have a clear view of the wall before you start using it. So it could work. I would say give it a try, see how it goes. Yeah, and let me know what you find.
Yeah.
All right, we have Ashton.
Hello.
Hello. What can I do for you?
So my question is, are the pneumatics powerful enough to use a catapult for your robot?
It's a good question. I played with it a little bit and wasn't successful, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. I would say give it a try. See what happens.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. I look forward to seeing what you build. Let's get Ben.
Hello.
Hello.
So I made a robot like at a summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
It was able to like shoot in the high and low goal, and
Mhm.
it did that by like having a like 2 gears and an axle, and it would spin with rubber bands. It would spin like to make it tighter and then less tight.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a really really good idea for like a quick build
Yeah.
for this season.
I would agree. I love doing that. I have it on at least one robot that I have on YouTube, and I have it on like 2 or 3 robots that I'm still working on in my living room. It's an awesome way to do it. I agree. Good work. All right, we got, is that Tejas? Tatius.
Well, that's my dad's name, but. So, I was wondering, how would you how would you tighten a rubber band to change, how hard you catapult for the low and high goals?
That is a really good question. So this is actually kind of what Ben was talking about earlier. But basically, the idea is you just need something. Oh, could you also grab me Super Swish? You just need something that'll adjust the tension. So you see how here I've got like my rubber band and it's attached to these gears here, and as you spin it, like it gets tighter.
Yeah.
So that's one option. If you want something smaller, oh, this guy's kind of ripped to pieces, but you can still see it. Here, check this out. Oops, now it's even more in pieces. Oh, wait, this one's a little better. Here's a robot that is not done. This is my brother's robot. You see how as I spin it, it just wraps these rubber bands around the shaft?
Yeah.
This is making it tighter too. It's just kind of like rolling up a spool. Does that help?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Also, one more thing. Do you think that using the pneumatic thingy would be better than rubber bands?
So far, I've liked rubber bands more, but it doesn't mean they both can't work. Like pneumatics may be just as good.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem. All right, and then we have William. I cannot hear you.
I thought of gear machine drug train.
Can you say that again?
That was really far away from me. But apparently I have a 3 to 5 gear ratio drivetrain. And then I have a cannon. It has a piston at the bottom of it. Then it pops up and launches the ball. The only thing I'm missing that I have questions about is the intake, because we're using the conveyor belt. Or how do we make the conveyor belt? I'm gonna try. It's easy, but I don't really get that part.
So the conveyor belt, is this the part that takes the ball from the intake to the cannon, or is it the part that takes the ball from the floor up into the robot? Or both?
It makes it go from the floor up to the robot.
Gotcha. So here,
Almost finished. Just doing questions, switches at the end.
Here, let me pull this up. All right, so this is the course that I was telling you guys about earlier. Let me pull up Rolly Grabbers though. This is probably my favorite way to do it. So there's a few ways to do it. This is kind of what they look like usually.
Also, do you like the earthquake No, not that. We're using the conveyor belt,
like these things?
Pieces that fit together to make a bunch of shapes. There may be about this wide.
This kind, like up here? In the upper right corner?
Nope.
Not those.
Has 2 holes on it.
Gotcha.
Has 2 holes on it. And
So you guys are using like the new conveyor things then?
on the wide edges.
What'd you say?
On what?
So you guys are using like new conveyors?
And like it has like on. Yeah, they're not just the really tiny wide chains. They're like the big ones.
Gotcha. Is this in
They're
V5 or in
like
IQ?
This tall. This and this wide.
Gotcha.
They're pretty wide compared to the chains, which are around this wide.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't played much with them. I would say give it a try and see what you can do. In general, I've found that using a bunch of rolly grabbers, like the ones with rubber bands, works better than having like a chain conveyor. You guys don't have any rubber bands. You can buy them at the store.
We have Dynamics kit, but my team captain doesn't want us using it on the robot.
Gotcha. All right, well, it's up to you then. I would say give it a try. If you guys are having issues, I would look into getting rubber bands. You don't have to use
We
like,
already have them. We just don't have the spiky chains.
oh,
So if we add enough power, we have 2 motors left.
Gotcha.
Other than the 2 used for the, yeah, we use 2 for the cannon, 2 for the drivetrain, and we have 2 left for the intake.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say try what you're doing, see if it works.
We also got a color sensor.
Mm-hmm.
We got a color sensor for autonomous and 1 LED bumper, and that's pretty much all.
Cool. Yeah, so I would say
we use chains to connect.
Go ahead and give it a try with what you have.
I'm trying to hold on myself. I was maybe the first rookie to be able to actually make it.
Cool.
To actually be able to make a drivetrain or making a part of a robot in general. The rest of the rookies went outside doing their code bases.
Cool. So yeah, I would say go ahead, give it a try, and then if it doesn't work, send me an email, and I'd love to see what you guys have built. I'm gonna go to move on. I can get some other questions in, but it sounds like you have an awesome robot. It sounds like you've done an awesome job, William, just getting things set up, and I cannot wait to see what you build. All right. Let's get Francisco.
Alright, so I actually built a robot Inspire, and I'm just kind of having problems with the tensioner, because the tensioner, it's like, the standoffs will snap sometimes, because like, of all the tension from all the way against there, and like, I just want to know, like, how can I fix that?
All right, so you kind of have 2 options. One is if you take, in general, if you take rubber bands, you hook them up close to the edge of the standoff instead of like in the middle. If I do this, my rubber band, my standoff's gonna be more likely to pop off than if I put it all the way at the very edge. And so putting it on the edge of standoffs is like kind of an easy hack that might help fix it. If it's already at the edge, which it totally could be, what you can do is you can extend your catapult so it's longer. So here, let me move over so you can see it. Basically, this is the spot where it pivots around, this shaft. This is where the rubber bands are attached. If you attach the rubber bands further out, like maybe I attach them out here, then my rubber bands will need less tension, and I'll be able to shoot the same amount with it, just because of how levers work. So I would try those 2 things.
Oh, I'll try that, because, yeah, mine are in the middle. And also, the axle holding the catapult, like the main attachment point, it also starts bending too, and like, I definitely don't want my axles bending. So.
You're saying like this metal axle right here bends? Or the one that has the rubber bands on it? The one with the rubber bands?
Not the one with the rubber bands on.
This one bends. That's interesting. Yeah. Usually they bend. All right, my best guess is it's if there's a lot of space between these supports and like the catapult. Mine, like I put them right up against each other so it wouldn't bend. In general, metal axles, metal shafts are pretty strong. They don't bend a ton, but if you are having issues with bending, I would say go ahead, send me a picture of it through email, and we'll probably be able to look at it better then.
Alright, Yeah, I'll send you another email.
Cool.
So I did a couple days ago, so. Okay. Thanks.
Sounds good. Yeah, and if you include a picture with it, it makes it way easier for me to tell what's going on. All right, and we got team 4868. Go ahead.
Okay, so our question is, if a ball goes into if you shoot the ball and it hits the target and the ball falls out, but the target is hit, will that count as a DQ, or will a score be set as 0?
It used to count as a DQ because of a weird nuance in the rules. It does not anymore. Basically, if you shoot a ball at the goal and then it like clears the switch and bounces out, that's what it is. It's a cleared switch, but you don't get points for the ball.
That's not a DQ.
No, it is not a DQ. It's if you look at, I forget which Q&A it is. One of the Q&As has it. If you need help finding it, email me. But I would just read through the Q&A. You'll find it. Cool. All right, we have Aryan.
Can you show us your misfire robot?
Oh yeah, for sure. What would you like to see on this guy?
I would just like to see like the side of it.
Like that?
Oh yeah. That's all I really want to see.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. All right, then let's get Clay.
My question is, if it is during like rapid loading zone, if you put the ball into the normal loader, can you still pass to get points?
So the only balls that don't count for points are ones that you rapid load, meaning you put in the middle of the field. It can be the rapid load period, and you put it in the main loader, and you still get you still get pass points for it. Cool.
Okay.
All right, and we've got. Let's get. Is that? I can't. I'm not quite sure how. Oh, here. Let's get Lucky. Lucky. First. All right, and then we'll get Tom next. We get Lucky and then Tom.
Yeah. Hi Ben. So I have a quick question. So I was wondering, if a cannon mechanism for shooting would be good, because we've tried 3 types of shooting mechanisms. So we've used a catapult with a choo-choo mechanism, and we've done a conveyor belt with a catapult. But the problem was with the conveyor belt, we had no idea where we would hook up the motors for the catapult. So it would kind of be like a 2-in-1 robot. So we decided to use a cannon robot where it kind of like intakes it here. I don't have it with me.
Yeah, it's fine.
But, so it intakes it here, and then it brings it to the cannon. The cannon pulls back with a ratchet mechanism, and then it goes into your high or local, and then you use pneumatics to adjust the height. So we were planning to do that, and we already started it. So like, what would you say the best shooting mechanism is for this year?
I don't know yet. It's a little early. I personally really like catapults just because I've built them a lot. In pitching in, I built a ton of catapults. Before pitching in, I had built catapults. So catapults are just like what I'm used to.
Okay.
However, there's a lot of people who have done other things. A linear, like carriage, which is what you're calling a cannon. It sounds like where you like pull it straight back and let it go. Those can totally work. I've seen them work, but I've seen many fewer of them. So they're probably harder, but I think there's potential there too. So I would say give it a try, see if it works. If it doesn't work, let me know, and we can start looking at catapults together and see, if I can give you some stuff that'll kind of set you on the right track.
And also, for pneumatics, especially for motor shooting, do you have any tips? Because I've been doing VEX for 2 years. This is my second year in IQ. So we actually got pneumatics this year because we didn't get them last year. So we got it this year, and we're kind of confused for motor sharing, and I've never seen any motor sharing on your robots before. So.
I don't do motor sharing usually because it's really hard, and my goal is to make my robots like simple and easy, so that other people could like look at them and kind of use them as inspiration. If you want to do motor sharing, I think there are some videos. At some point, I might have one, but like I said, I don't usually do motor sharing unless I really, really need to. PTOs are just kind of hard. But the idea is that you have one motor and it has like a gear on it, and then you have another gear that just comes in and meshes with it. And you use pneumatics to like connect and unconnect the gears. Kind of like the thing on Super Switch. But if you imagine, this robot's like flying to pieces. I took all his motors out. But you know, this part where it like goes up and this can spin, or it can go down and now they all spin together. So that's kind of the core principle of motor sharing. Making this go up and down, and this is only one, right? You'd have another one down here so that you could switch between them. Because usually you're not just trying to like start and stop using the motor. You want to like switch between using it for one thing or switch between using it for another. So.
And to email you, is it just the same email you use to like send us like email?
Yep, you got it.
And I just wanted to thank you for like all your robot designs, because like they've always saved the day, especially for the competitions and stuff. So like they helped a lot last year, especially the arm bot you built. I forgot the name of it, but it helped us a lot. So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that. All right, and then Thomas, did you say, right? Tommy, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a team of newbies, and we have this idea. You have like a puncher that punches it, and there's two flywheels that just spin really fast, and like just shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you have any ideas how we're just gonna get up the ball to push it, and even how to push it?
Do you have like one of these drawings of your robot that you could show me? Because I'm not sure I can entirely understand what you're describing.
Yeah, I think it's not working.
Oh, all right. Let me do it this way then. So, if I do this, can I just kind of get a quick idea of what your robot looks like? You've got, you said, some kind of robot, obviously. And does it pick up a ball? Does it have like an intake here?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what intake is supposed to be.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's draw the rest of the robot. So what else do I have?
So you have like a puncher, like a big plate that punches it.
All right. And is that like here-ish? The plate, and that's punching it like this way?
Around.
So it's kind of like here-ish. All right. It doesn't have to be exact. And this is where the ball goes, and it like punches it up like that into the goals.
There's also another, but then you got it a bit wrong. If it punches it to the flywheel.
Oh, and there's two flywheels up here? Like that?
You got something right. And there's one flywheel. You got those other. And both of those are supposed to be on the robot. Like, on the plate thingy.
Oh, they're like all the way down here?
Yeah, and then they just shoot. I can probably like adjust the flywheel and the puncher, just punch it up and do it. If we want to go fast, we could use the flywheels. Otherwise, you don't need to.
So you're saying you kind of got flywheels here and a puncher, and they're all like kind of down here?
Yeah, and then it just punches it into the high goals and low goals.
I see. Cool.
Do you have any way like to bring it up and how to even punch it?
So punching is going to be hard this year. In general, VEX is really bad at what we call linear motion. And so punching is unfortunately really challenging. But if you're going to punch, I would say, you know, have something that kind of slides here, something that slides here. You'll have some rubber bands that are pulling it pulling it forward, so you'll have rubber bands kind of pulling it this direction. And then you'll have a motor on like a choo-choo or something similar that pulls it back here and then lets go.
Okay.
Yeah, and then for intaking, I don't know, it looks like you would kind of take the ball and put it up there somehow. So maybe, I don't know, I've got like a series of rollers up here, and maybe like some VEX pieces like this. Really, my drivetrain's gonna be bigger. Yeah, so maybe that's a conveyor belt. Maybe it's a series of rollers. I usually will use a series of rollers. There's less friction in these than in a conveyor belt. But if you get a good conveyor belt, it looks like maybe I could load it in the top and then shoot it out. Maybe you could do something cute where you like load it in by running your flywheels backwards. So, you know, like your intake is over here and maybe like it kind of feeds the ball that way. So the ball kind of comes in here. You run your flywheels backwards, it throws it in the puncher, and you run them forward and it shoots. So, not sure. Both would be options. I would say give it a try, see what you get. Let me know what you come up with.
Thank you for your help.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. I think we got time for like one or two more, and I know there's more than one or two hands up. So if you do have a question that I don't get to, go ahead and email me, and I'd love to answer your question. But let's get, it looks like we have a few more. Let's get, Jackson.
Okay, so I have a question. Like, what wheels do you like prefer?
Like for driving around the field?
Yeah.
I like Omni wheels. I always do full Omni, meaning I use 4 Omni wheels. You could probably get away with 2+2, meaning 2 Omnis, 2 tractions. So usually, just because this is what I'm used to, I like driving full Omni. If you are really used to driving 2+2, meaning 2 like normal wheels and 2 Omnis, here, this robot has it. Oh, this one has full Omni, doesn't it? This one, no, I don't have any of them. So here, like if you imagine 2 of these are like the normal wheels, not the Omni wheels. Sometimes I like that too, but that's better for programming skills if you're trying to program the robot to go where you want, because it can't slide side to side on its own. But yeah, in general, I like to go full Omnis. But 2+2 isn't bad either.
So I have another question for you.
All right, go fast.
So, how do you like make the catapult?
How do I make a catapult? So I've got a video on my channel that if you email me, I can help get you set up with, or you can just look on my channel. But let me show you real quick kind of what I do. So this is like that class I was telling you guys about earlier. And in it, there is a, which one is it? Getting started building probably is where it is. Go down here, getting started building. So catapults usually look something like this. I call them rubber band arms here because that's really what they are. That you've got like some kind of horizontal stick like this, and then you're gonna have some rubber bands that are just being pulled down like so. So you see it's like horizontal here, and then the rubber bands are just pulling it down. And then to make that shoot, usually we're using something like this, something kind of like a choo-choo mechanism. And choo-choo mechanisms are super confusing. They look exactly like this, and the best way to understand them is literally to build them. So I've got a video on my YouTube channel that kind of explains them. In this class, I explain them a lot more. But I would say the rubber band arm, you kind of see it's just like a stick with rubber bands coming out of it, and I'd use a choo-choo mechanism and just build it and like kind of play with it, hooked up to your rubber band arm to see how it works. If it doesn't make sense, watch my video and see if you can kind of figure it out.
Thank you. I've got to go.
Sounds good. I'll see you later. Cool. And then let's get Judy.
Hi, I'm a coach for
Awesome.
elementary students. I take teams for from 4th graders and 5th graders. So I like to start with a larger group with about 8 kits and 4 in each group. What do you recommend for like an initial kind of more simple build? We have Generation 1 kits only, so there's no hero bot for, that's what I would usually use, but then they quit making instructions for the hero bots for Gen 1. But like last year, we started with your Super Link, and then I chose tournament teams to move on, and they modded, you know, from that point forward. They made their own modifications and improved their bots from there. But I just need like a simple bot that will, you know, be mediocre in scoring and things like that, and then students will take it from there.
Yeah. So actually, this year I kind of made a different version of Super Link that. For some reason, Super Link still works this year. Basically, all I did was I took this and like made it taller, so it could fit a ball in it. Oh, just got a ball for me. Yes. And so now instead of fitting cubes, he fits a single ball, and he can score in the low goal. So if you want a super simple Gen 1 only robot, honestly I would still go with Super Link. But make sure you get this year's version, not last year's version. Otherwise, you can't pick up the balls.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Cool, cool. All right. And let's get one last question. Let's get Cecily. If you're talking, Cecily, I cannot hear you. All right. Tell you what. Instead, let's go ahead and we'll go with Kingston. And Cecily, if you want, you can try and send in the chat what you were going to.
So I have a question. So if I try making a robot from this drawing I made, is there like any,
can you turn off your virtual background?
Yeah, let me try doing that. So, is it possible to make like any instructions from this?
So in general, the best way to make instructions is to build the robot, try it, figure out how it works, and then you build instructions after you have a fully built robot. So it looks like you have an awesome robot. I would say start building it. What you can do is start with something like this. So here, just some, maybe you start with a drive base like this. You kind of pick, like this might be a good drive base, this one here in the middle. So maybe you say, all right, I really like that. I'm going to pick that for my drive. And then it looked like you had some kind of arm. Arms are over here. Arms. There it is. And maybe you want some kind of arm that looks like this. And you'll add your little, you had an L coming out of your arm. You'll have an intake on there and all that good stuff. But I would kind of take things that look like this, and hopefully this is enough detail that, if you want to take a screenshot, you can, but like this is how I'd build an arm. Or you can take a picture with your phone of my screen.
Yeah, let me go grab my phone.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. 50 arm.
All right. Yeah, and here, let me show you the drivetrain also. So if you want that, where is that? Here, let me zoom in so you get a better picture. There you go. And so something like this is probably a good drivetrain. Does that kind of give you a good place to start? You kind of have the drivetrain, you kind of have that arm, put them together, and then you'll be building just the parts that connect them.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Well, awesome. I think that is just about it for tonight. If you do have any more questions, you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and email me. Let me know, like, kind of what you guys are up to, or if you need any help. If you guys want to, basically, if you have more questions, just shoot me an email. I know there's tons more questions. I have still 13 people with their hand up. So thank you guys so much for coming. It's been awesome chatting with you guys. Hopefully you guys found this useful. Like I said, if you want to come join me for that course, there's a link in the chat. Go ahead and sign up there. Other than that, though, thank you so much for coming, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Goodbye.